iChris Unfiltered.
What is going on, peoples? It's your boy iChris Unfiltered. I'm driving right now, so I'm trying to pay attention to the road. But that's not going to stop me from answering the questions that I need to answer today for day 2. So I'm gonna hit you guys right quick with a bunch of information. It's gonna be for SSSVEDA, it's gonna be for B2CVEDA, and it's gonna be for BattenVEDA, which is the newest one that I'm trying for BattenHall. And there's different questions, so that's kind of cool. I don't mind spreading myself thin a little bit in the interest of getting back into the swing of making videos. So let's jump right into the first one. Let's go with SSSVEDAs, which I believe is your favorite things. Like, I guess just in general, everything that's my favorite. Some of you that know me know that I suck donkey balls at picking favorite anythings because, well, let me back it up just a taste. When it comes to favorite teams, that's simple. I'll run them down for you right quick. Los Angeles Kings, San Francisco 49ers, USC Trojans. We're gonna go with FC Barcelona, and let's go EPL, Arsenal. Let's go with, of course, Los Angeles Lakers, Los Angeles Dodgers, of course. Go blue, kick some angel ass tonight. And of course, going back to the Kings, the champions, they've got a couple under their belt, unlike the Ducks, Natalie. So, those are some of the teams that I like, and they're my favorite. So, of course, I'd be remiss not to mention, of course, my LA Galaxy, also champions, but, they're just too damn good for everybody in the MLS. What you gonna do? What you own do? What you own do? So, those are my favorite teams, but that's about all you're gonna get from me on favorites because I suck at naming favorites. I'm very indecisive, and it's pretty crazy because you would think it'd be easy, but it's just that I like so many damn things. No matter what I'm doing, what I'm eating, what I'm watching, I can't name it. I can't pick just one. I can't. It's like Pringles. Once you pop, you just can't stop. So, just to give you an idea of what some of my favorites are, you know what? I will give you one more favorite. Fruit-wise, and I keep looking this way because I'm used to the camera being on the left side. I've got it on the right, and I got to get used to that. I'm all, messed up. Watermelon, favorite fruit. So that's an easy one right there. But other than that, I don't really have any other favorites. I like pizza, I like pozole, I like tacos, I like chicken curry. There's just a lot of things I like. I like a bunch of different genres of books. I like, even superheroes, right? I'm really big on the Incredible Hulk, Batman, of course. But then from there, it's kind of like I have a lot of others that I like, and I can't really, put them into the categories I need to put them in, which that's going to actually answer the question that's going to come later on for the BattenVEDA, so I'll get to that. Movies, I like movies like Anchorman, Zoolander. There's a lot of others that aren't stupid, that aren't crazy, movies like that. Goofy movies that I like, serious movies. So, I draw a blank because, who didn't like Wedding Crashers and just a bunch of other movies. I'm naming a lot of comedies, so hey, how about that? So as far as a favorite goes, I do have a favorite genre, comedy. Pretty cut and dry in terms of a favorite for what I prefer, but who doesn't like to laugh, right? So there's that. So I guess in the process of answering these questions, or this question, it's kind of helping me realize I do have some favorites. I just don't have that many. So, I will give you this one. I do have a favorite sex position. I've got that one. I got that one. I'm cool with that one. You want to know what it is, don't you? But I'm not going to say it because even though I am unfiltered, I'm just not going to go there right now. I'm gonna leave that. If you really want to know, we can discuss it in the comments. But otherwise, you're just gonna get that I've got at least a favorite there. So that covers that. I wish I can give you guys a little bit more of what my favorites are, but if you want to like get into like a discussion as to some of the other things that I like, and you're really curious, like I wonder what iChris Unfiltered has a favorite in, or you know, what's his favorite place to shop at, and I don't know, what are his favorite shoes, what's his favorite, you know, whatever it is, we can talk about it in the comments. So we'll move on to the B2CVEDA question, which is favorite show to binge watch or something like that, right? Now for that one, it's really easy actually. I can easily go with Friends, because much like Megan, who went with Friends, for those of you that are into, you know, B2CVEDA, you should know who Megan is. But anyways, if you don't, it's Megan Pangan. Check her out, Meg TV. Friends it's a ritual. I've been doing it for years. Before I go to sleep, it's on channel 299 or 300. It kind of fluctuates between the two. I watch it every night before I go to bed. But in the process of watching that, they've mixed in a couple other shows, and it's a breath of fresh air. I enjoy watching George Lopez, and I also really enjoy How I Met Your Mother. I never gave it a chance when it was on TV, and I wish I had. It's pretty funny. So there's that. But I will pick one of all the shows I mentioned. I'm gonna go with George Lopez, because, well, let's just say it's not because of the stereotype, but it's because I can relate. And quite honestly, it's like I've seen every single episode of Friends, and I also, you know, have access to every single episode of Friends. So either way, like I can sit there and watch every episode of Friends and enjoy it. I could take it old school and binge and watch every episode of Will and Grace. I bet some of you guys don't even know what that is, huh? That show was a funny show. But George Lopez, I really enjoy watching it because I can relate. I grew up with a lot of the things that he makes fun of, and to a lot of other people, they don't get it. You know, I've got a really good friend of mine named Arlette. She's as white as they come for being a Latina, and she doesn't really like the show. She doesn't quite get it, but she can relate better to the white culture, or Caucasian culture. Let's be politically correct here, buddy. And you know, we laugh about it, and it's just kind of funny, I guess, for lack of a better term. She's whitewashed, but I can relate to everything he does and says, because my grandparents, you know, said something similar or exactly what he makes fun of, and or I have relatives that do, or I have friends that their family used to say the things that he makes fun of, or whatever it is. So I'm gonna go with George Lopez on this one, because I could sit there and watch every episode, and he still cracks me up because of his delivery. I know, huh? So that's George Lopez, and that's B2CVEDA. Moving on to BattenVEDA, top 10 anything, I guess, top 10 favorite things or whatever. Just your top 10, my top 10. That's flipping hard, because I mean, if I go by teams, I could probably name like 8 or 9 teams, so maybe that would fit into the category or to answer the question. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you my top 10 superheroes, my favorites, but in no particular order, because I don't know, I'm not sure exactly how I would rank them. So does that make it a top 10? Anyways, let's go with the top 10. So we're gonna go with Incredible Hulk, Batman, let's see, the Wolverine, of course, Colossus, Nightcrawler, Superman, Spider-Man, Mystique, Thor, and I think, ooh, this is a close one, but I'm gonna go with Gambit. You could probably see a theme. The majority of them are Marvel characters, but that's just because Marvel characters are legit. They're too legit to quit. Yes, I did that right now. That's all there is to it. I had this conversation on one of the Facebook pages with a buddy and just several people about the difference between Marvel and why growing up I've always been partial to Marvel more so than DC, and then I guess as I got older I kind of gravitated a little bit more towards DC somewhat. But before I continue, I don't want to forget Beast from X-Men, because he's awesome. Green Lantern, they were also choices. Iron Man is awesome. Captain America is awesome. Psylocke. There's quite a few characters that I could continue to name, but if it's top 10, I have to move the ones that I gravitate towards mostly. That I have an interest in the majority of the time. So that's who I go with. But anyways, the discussion was why. I basically said Marvel, when you're young, you want to be like, you want to have some awesome powers. You want to shoot some shit out your eyes. You want to be able to see through walls. There's all kinds of shit that you want to do when you're young, when you're thinking of being a superhero. You want to fly, of course. Those are all things that aren't really, like, it's more towards the Marvel type of characters. DC Comics, for the most part, was much more real superheroes. And by that, I mean, the majority of the heroes that they picked were kind of like men that can just so happen to do extraordinary things. And then on occasion, they throw in someone like Aquaman or whatever that can do other things. Batman has always been big because he's just a man with a vindictive and just like, a vindictive type of personality. He has money, so that's how he's able to do what he does. And just, I mean, he's a man. He's got no superpowers. There's him, and even, you get the gist of it. I don't want to waste any more of your time, but it's just more real. So that's why I think there's a difference. As you get older, you kind of like see a little bit of maybe yourself, or depending on how your life has gone, in some of the characters on the DC side. Obviously, I can't relate to controlling metal. I can't relate to being extraordinarily hairy like Beast. I can't put a helmet on and run through walls like I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. I can't do any of that shit. So it's kind of cool to look at guys on the DC side and say, maybe if I did invent that or put that together at Home Depot and I did CrossFit a little bit longer, which obviously you can tell I stopped doing it, maybe I could do some shit that they do on the in the DC world. So maybe that's the difference. I'd love to talk more about any of these topics that I just blabbed on about for the last I don't know how many minutes. Let's see, 13 minutes. Damn, this video is long. Sorry. It's all videos in one though. That's why. So that's about it. Catch you guys tomorrow, and let's see what the others topics got in store. All right, peace.